Hello, world.
And the cousins are locked in. Myself, Max, of course, Dave, the
That is
producer,
me.
Sean. But we have a special guest today. It's a pleasure to have you on. We have Ray Gaines.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Of course, we had Roman on, of course, a couple episodes ago. Well, actually, it was last episode.
It was last episode. It was before Christmas. First of all, Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Merry Christmas to you, sir. It was awesome. Christmas, best time of the year, but now we're getting back in the swing of it. Work, basketball, we're back into it. So we're back in. We're about to get locked in again.
Yeah, and when I went to this high school game, it was Lopez versus Atlantic. And for those that listen or check it out on Apple Podcasts, Stitch Radio, Locked In with two N's, we talked about some of the best high school teams around, and Roman mentioned he thought Lopez was probably the best, but Atlantic was right up there. So I went into this game after. I'm like, okay, let's see it. This is the big game, right? So I go into there. I see Colin, who's the Michigan commit, and then I see the Atlantic program. And, man, what a great game.
Absolutely. And it was funny that you said that because I was texting with one of their assistant coaches from Atlantic, and he said that a lot of the guys on his team heard the podcast and was really motivated to prove Roman wrong that, Father Lopez was the best team in the area. So a lot of those guys took it real personal.
Yeah, I had coaches come up and say, we need to get in the locked-in studio. I'm like, okay, one coach at a time. Right now, Ray Gaines is on the list. So
Absolutely.
You mentioned nothing but good things about you and your program. And today, I want to talk about your program. So Roman had his say on multiple topics, a variety of topics, but mentioned your program in a really, really good manner. And I go and I play basketball at the Nova Gym in Ormond with Dream. Dream was there, and I hear nothing but good things about your coaching and your program. So I thought, what better but to have you in to talk about your program. So could you give us a rundown? Just tell us about Calvary and your program.
Absolutely. Calvary Christian Academy is a small 2A school located right out there on 40 in Ormond Beach. We for the last couple of years, this is my third year in. Our first year, I came in and took over a program that was pretty much down to the bare bones, and we finished the season, our first season, with seven wins, playing one senior, two freshmen, and two eighth graders. One eighth grader and a seventh grader, the majority of the game. Then my second year, I was kind of undecided on whether or not I was going to coach or not. So I decided at the last minute to come back and coach. And that year we played 4 eighth graders and 1 10th grader that never had an opportunity to play high school basketball. So coming up on my third year, I personally made a commitment to myself as well as to the school to make sure that we are able to put the best product out there on the court. So I was able to, talk to a couple kids, and some coaches actually recommended some kids to me as well. And we are having a pretty decent year. We are second in our district. We lost to the number one team in our district by 17, North Florida Educational Institute, which has probably 8 international students. And everybody else in our district, we've probably beat by 45 plus. We are going. Like right now, we are having not a pretty tough time because we're actually getting our gym floor redone. So we haven't had a chance to practice really since December the 11th. So that's been a challenge.
Yeah,
that's been a challenge for us.
Practice makes perfect.
Absolutely.
Practice.
Absolutely.
Real quick, you said something about the bare bones at the beginning.
Yes.
Would you, looking back at it now, is that something that you like to be like, okay, I'm starting something fresh. I'm starting something with an empty closet. You can put your Jordans wherever you want them. Your LeBrons here. Or would you maybe next time, or if there is a next time, would you rather start with or full closet? 10 LeBrons. You got a couple Kevin Durant's, couple of, get the analogy, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather start bare or full?
It's kind of funny that you said that. I was actually, prior to coming to Calvary, I was a coach at Trinity Christian Academy. Up in Deltona, we finished with a Division I player, Amari Archibald, who's now at Louisiana Tech.
Heck of a player.
And I coached him for 2 years. And when I left there, Calvary, it was our rivalry because we played in the district. I've never lost to Calvary before, but I was going to resign, and I resigned because I wanted to, focus on my daughter who actually plays volleyball down at New Smyrna Beach High School. So I wanted to focus on my daughter playing volleyball, and Calvary is my church. So when I got the call about being a coach, coming over as a coach, I already knew what they had there, and I was kind of motivated by the challenge, but it actually hit a little hard because the kids I left at Trinity, and we used to always talk about, if you go coach somewhere or coach, you can never go coach there. And
You pulled the James Harrison a little bit.
yes,
You pulled the James
dude,
Harrison.
It was rough, man. Like probably for months, Amari Archibald, those guys wouldn't even speak. They'd see me around in the city or what have you, and just be like, "Coach, I can't believe you went there." Sent me all kind of crazy text messages, but after a while, they understood.
Yeah.
And it was mainly because Calvary was my church, and if I had to do it all over again, I will probably want to do it that way because you can leave your imprint better on the program when it's yours.
Wow. Wow. Well, how's Amari doing, by the way? I think I follow him on Instagram. I see. Looks like he's doing really good.
Yeah, he's actually playing. As any big time high school athlete going to college, man, they want to play a lot. But I actually think that he is really, really embracing the opportunity. From my understanding, he was just here over Christmas. Now they're up in Nashville getting ready to play in the tournament. And he's playing on a team with a bunch of seniors and juniors, and those guys are doing well. So he's excited about it.
Obviously, you coached Amari. What would you say is the hardest transition? My brother Stacy, he's doing really good, and when he gets in, of course, everyone's tuning in and hoping he does good. But what is the hardest transition, would you say, from your perspective as a coach, from a high school player going into college? Is it the fundamentals of shooting? What would you recommend for players that are about to go into college?
It's the physicality. A lot of, like Amari, now he was an exceptional athlete. He played football, did well, played basketball, but he wasn't a heavyweight guy. You know what I'm saying? He didn't hit the weight room. And, guys don't realize how physical the game is at the next level. Like, everybody, I played small Division II basketball, and I did well. But I can remember when I was coming out, I'm not going to lift weights. Football players lift weights. And when you get to school, everybody's lifting, and everybody's stronger. So, that little nudge that you get in high school, you can shake that off. If a guy nudge you in college, you're not going anywhere. You're going to stand there or you're going to fall down. So that's one of the things that's probably the hardest for people to adjust. When you go to college, if you're not getting physically stronger, it's going to be a rough time for you.
Yeah, the game is different. You look at, everybody talks about LeBron versus Jordan. I mean, look at the size. Jordan wasn't as big as LeBron.
Absolutely.
So them one-on-one, they could be, talent could be here or there, but LeBron's bigger. He'll push him around.
Yes.
No, I think that's exactly right. And I actually I don't know if you know Trey Stevenson, but I was talking to Trey yesterday. He played for Creek. Is it something you think a player just needs to focus on individually? That's something you need to grind on your own time after practice? Or do you think that's something coaches can implement into their practices?
Every coach should implement it in their preseason part of their program, because once you get into the season, practices are so limited. You can only, for us, we can only practice Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, because we can't practice on Wednesday because of youth service in the gym. So we only can go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and sometimes Saturday. So a lot of times, for me personally, I really think kids and players need to get after it by themselves. Because like I told you guys earlier, I work in Orlando, so I get an opportunity to watch a lot of Orange County basketball, and it's so different. Mm-hmm. The guys are bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, and you can tell that their overall commitment to the game is much, much more intense than our local kids here.
Why? Why is that? I never understood that. Or the Orlando players, or even just out-of-state players. Why?
Bigger market?
Yeah, why is that? I never understood that.
How can I say this without being, bad? My only thing about it, man, is that the Orlando kids want it more than our kids. When you look at talent-wise, those guys that's coming up right now in the 2019 class is probably just as talented as the kids in Orlando, but the Orlando kids want it more. You have a lot of parents involved with some of these kids here, and then you can't coach kids hard without them going home and talking to their parents about it, and then you getting a text message or a phone call from a parent. Whereas Orlando kids, because I go to a lot of games, and like I know a lot of AAU coaches up there, and they coach those kids hard.
It's
The
LeVar
parents are
Ball
even helping you.
atmosphere.
The parents, with the Orlando kids, if the parents have your back as the coach, then you can coach them as hard as you want or as hard to get the best out of them.
Absolutely.
And maybe kids here, I think what you're saying is they go home, the parents get upset, they make a phone call or two, and then that's it.
And see, one of the great things about me having an opportunity to actually coach at a smaller school is like I don't have to deal a lot with the parent politics because we have a handful of kids. Our high school may have 100 kids in there, and we might have 22 boys. So out of those 22 boys, 10 of those boys are guys that I've personally, that came over to the school. So the parents understand who I am. But as a coach in a public school, when you're dealing with 15 kids, 15 set of parents, then the administration, it's a lot. Yeah. Especially for the amount of time and the resources that you have, it's a lot. So I am lucky because I don't have to deal a lot with a lot of parent conflict because I kind of let my parents know is ahead of time. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And if your son don't like it, I love him, but he can go somewhere else.
Right. I was just going to ask, how did you, the 3-8-6 scene, they were in here a week and a half ago over here with Roman. Looks like they got a new website coming out.
Yes.
I definitely think they're trying. I definitely think there's some momentum. Locked In is here in the 3-8-6. There's definitely some momentum here. You like the momentum? Do you think more needs to happen? Or you think that sooner or later that Daytona, 3-8-6, Port Orange, all this is really on the way up?
Actually, if you're talking about sending kids to the next level, what we don't have here in Volusia County that Orange County has and some of them other areas, Duval or what, is that we don't have real quality travel basketball. And like I was listening back when Roman was on and he was talking about, some of the local college coaches don't recruit our area and however he wanted to put it. But at the end of the day, it is very, very, very rare that a college coach is going to come sit in a high school basketball game.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, parents have to be more actively involved in their kids' overall recruitment. Now, what 386 Hoop Scene is doing and what you guys are doing is great, but the parents have to be actively involved. And like, for instance, I actually, Jordan Sears, who actually plays for Atlantic, I'm close with his mom. I know his dad very well. And I always get calls about kids in Volusia County, like who can play. We want them to play on our team in AAU in Orlando. And he's the only kid, him and Max Oles are the only kids I've ever, vouched for because I've watched them grow in the game. And like he went over there and like he excelled. And like we don't have that here. It doesn't have to be like a sneaker sponsored team like Each One Teach One or, Team Parsons, but it has to be a credible AAU travel team that's going to allow Volusia County to get to the next level.
The one thing I noticed, whether it's doing our podcast with Locked In, basketball, football, it's all about networking. It's like getting your name out. You may have the best material. I believe we have the best podcast out. But
Absolutely.
If people don't hear it, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
So I think it's all about what you mentioned, and that's why I like the 386 Hoop Scenes. That was a great point. Is because they're just getting their names out. They're getting articles out. They're getting their stats out. And hopefully coaches can click on that website instead of maybe not going to the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And see, like a lot of times coaches in the area, and it's crazy because basketball in general is about relationships. A lot of those AAU teams in Orlando, they're great AAU programs because of their relationships. Like, you got coaches that got every ACC coach in their Rolodex or in their phone that they can. That's
wow.
There's no other coaches in here that can say that. Yeah, that's all. That's all it is about. Like I have a couple coaches who I can call, but they're local coaches here. Say, hey, look, I got a kid I need you to come take a look at. But nothing on the magnitude of what some of these other programs out here have. Like all the coaches in Orlando, and it's cool because there is like. In order for us to do an AAU program here, it has to be like a high school coach that has to run it. And what happens when a high school coach run it, now you got all the other stuff going on. He's trying to take my kid. So then you can't do it. So in Orlando, they have outside people running it. And it's so much easier to be able to build those relationships. Because if I was to do an AAU team, which I had one 2 years ago, it was crazy. People thinking I'm trying to take their kids and stuff like that. So it's not worth the headache.
It has to be somebody that's not a high school head coach.
Got to be neutral. And so eventually, once my daughter gets on to college, she graduates next year, I'm probably going to stop coaching basketball altogether and like just focus on doing AAU and giving kids an opportunity to get exposure. And plus, playing AAU tournaments, there's no USSSA, there's no YBOA, there's not even AAU. You have to go to showcases, Georgia, Tennessee. You have to go places where college coaches are going to be. You don't even have to play every weekend, just during the live period. Because all it takes is one coach to like you, and you get on, and it's good. Wow.
That's mind blowing to me.
That's
It's
crazy.
just the
I like
connections.
it.
I have a question for you. There's something I really wanted to. It kind of transfers into the NBA as well.
Yeah.
When you have all these kids, you have kids transferring more than usual. In my experience, I've noticed Robert and I transferred, and then it seemed like it's just more and more and more, and it's just player mobility. It's almost like everyone learned from LeBron.
LeBron,
is happening.
Durant.
But as a coach, when you have a new player come to your school, how hard is it to adjust your system around that player or your players to fit into your system? Like we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they're playing great basketball. But when Isaiah Thomas comes back, it's like the system changes just a little bit. The feeling out process is there. How hard is that for you as a coach?
As a coach, for me, you have to be able to move around your player. Like, you can't be so set in your ways as a coach where you're not going to give an opportunity for a kid to excel. For instance, last year I was playing with really, really young guys, so I had to micromanage the game. So I'm calling a play out every single play. I'm making sure you're moving to the left, moving to the right. When you get guys that can play, like right now, we have some kids that can play. So I actually try not to micromanage the game as much as far as calling out a set every time. Guys, you got to be able to make a basketball play, because what happens is that when you're calling out a play every time down the court, kids turn into robots. And like, you can't be a good player if you're robotic. Like, if I tell you set the pick on the left and you go right to the spot I tell you to set the pick at, but there's nobody there, you're a robot.
You got to have a basketball IQ.
You got to have basketball IQ.
Basketball, it's like art.
Yeah.
It's music. It's very loose. It's open. The ball's running. There's fast. It's never, the robotic. You cannot be just a robot out there.
Changing. Each
Yes,
Absolutely.
defensive set, each player, each team will always throw something different at you, and you have to be able to respond just like that.
Absolutely.
instincts.
And see, that's the thing with me, because I have, out of my 10 guys now, only 2 guys played for me last year. One of them was in the 8th grade. Now he's a 9th grader. And one of them is 11th grade. And you may know Jackson Moon because he went to Atlantic.
How's he doing, by the way?
He's doing well. He's probably he's my adopted son, because we have a really good love-hate relationship. So, he's in Oklahoma right now, so he's doing well for the holidays. So he'll be back on Friday. But
As soon as you said Jackson Moon, I thought of Jackie Moon. That Will
that's
Ferrell
what I
movie.
call him. I call him Jackie.
Jackie Moon.
Jackie Moon. And
He can shoot.
yeah,
He can
and the
shoot.
thing about it though, because he's never, and so when I got him last year, he like never, like he played a little bit, but it wasn't nothing as intense. Because kids always think varsity basketball is easy. It doesn't matter what classification you're in, 2A to 9A. Varsity basketball is varsity basketball, and when you have never had an opportunity to play at that level, the game is faster. So it took him a while to understand the actual level of being able to compete on the varsity level. Because like every year, because everybody's knock on Calvary was we don't play anybody, but we play anybody, anywhere, anytime. It doesn't matter. If you want to play, we're gonna come out there and play. So as when you were a senior, we came to Atlantic and played you on senior night.
Yeah.
Drilled us, but we played. It was good. It was good.
I was telling him I couldn't hit a shot my senior night. I was so focused
Yeah,
on
he was trying to get a record on us. I knew
I
it.
remember.
Yeah, you were there.
I know I was there.
He
You
was trying
were
to get a
there?
record.
Yeah.
But, wow.
Yeah.
I feel old now. It's a couple of years ago.
That's a couple years ago.
Little
But,
vet.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier we were talking about you have some 7th and 8th graders.
Yes.
That's a unique opportunity you have at Calvary
Yes.
because you have that younger kid. Do you think that could be an advantage, or you can use that of having that younger kid earlier to help develop them as they start playing in high school? Because do you play the 7th graders in like a JV tile?
Now,
Now.
last year they were playing varsity.
Really?
I have a kid now, Jake Chaffman. He has been in my program since the 7th grade. He's been a starter 7th grade year, 8th grade year. This year he's not starting, but he's the 6th guy.
Yeah.
And he's learned a lot through that. So all the young guys that I had playing last year that were 8th graders that are now 9th graders, they're playing JV. So by the time the guys I have in now graduate, those guys will be juniors and those guys will be ready to go. So
And they have an extra year or two because
Yeah.
they had that 7th, 8th grade where you guys are playing rec. They're actually getting
I would have
experience.
loved an extra 2 years to
Oh, no.
just
my
develop my
gosh.
game, work on my
Absolutely.
game.
But I'm gonna tell you though, Max, that is the thing that one of the things that I actually sell to the kids. Like if you want to come play varsity basketball as a 9th grader, as an 8th grader, why not come to a private school? And like, I don't hold any punches with kids. I tell kids all the time, if you come for a year, if you don't like it, you can go back. But there's no reason why when you have a high school team here that's going to allow 8th and 9th grade kids, because like Jake, when he was 8 last year, he was our leading scorer on our team. He's in 8th grade and played 31 and a half minutes every game. And a lot of kids understand that now. That's how come I get like I can go through my phone now and probably show you 8 or 9 texts from kids that are interested in possibly coming next year because they understand
That's awesome.
opportunity. They understand opportunity, and I tell them. I even tell Coach Howard, and Coach Howard is probably one of my closest friends here because I've been knowing him for a long time, and like he has helped me with a lot of different kids. Say, Coach, maybe this kid can play for you or whatever, and so he helps us with that. But on the flip side of it, if you're in the 8th, 9th grade, if you're in the 9th grade, chances are you're going to play JV. Why? When
Yep.
you can come play varsity basketball.
Coach Howard might have to talk to Roman. Roman was like, "Oh, Lopez is going to beat Atlantic."
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Coach Howard's got a,
That
he's got a system there.
Yeah, they shut Colin down.
They got
I
some
have
good
nothing but
things
love
going.
for Colin. I think Colin,
Yeah,
the
he's
sky's the
phenomenal.
limit for him.
He's
But yeah,
phenomenal.
that program, that system, the ball movement was what I loved the most. Is
Yeah.
because what I always told. Well, I didn't tell Howard this face to face, but I'm not going to tell the man how to coach. But I did say I wish I saw more ball movement instead
Yeah.
of isolation plays. Because I remember when my senior year, I mean, we did great, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes I felt like we relied on Stacy to make an ISO basketball
Absolutely.
play. And then when you play teams in Jacksonville, like the Rebalts, and sometimes that doesn't always work out.
Absolutely.
And to have a system where the ball moves, in which I think they had like Coach Travis tweeted it. I think they had 22 assists or something like that. I'm like, okay.
And it's funny that you
That's
said
nice.
that, and that's the thing. Me and our coach Travis talk a lot, and he comes to my games, I goes to his game, so I support him all the time. And what we talk about is kids have to understand. You have to, in order for you to be successful, everybody has to touch it. And when we were 5-0, we were averaging 22 assists a game. So when we've lost like 2 in a row, 3 in a row, it's because we are under 15 assists a game. And
Ball
so
movement.
and so that's what I emphasize to the kids. I'm telling you, it worked. Like if you watch Golden, all the guys love Golden State. Watch them. The ball moves. The ball never sticks. And so, getting kids to buy into that, and then that's the thing I can say about Howard. His kids have really been able to like share the ball. Like I just texted Travis before I came over here, and he said, "Yeah, we won today. Jordan had 17, 8, and 6 or whatever, and we had 20 assists total as a team." That's what it's about, man. I say because for me as a coach, if it's one kid who we got to focus on, I don't care how good you are. I don't care who I'm playing with or who I have. I can take one kid out the game.
Yes, that's
Easy.
my whole point. And
Easy.
We're talking about the NBA. Before we jump into that, though, there's a cool stat from the NBA is the Golden State Warriors, as you just mentioned, they have the least time of possession, for you as a player. You don't hold the ball the longest. You know what I mean?
Klay Thompson.
So, yeah,
And then
they
he passes it
always
to
move
Curry.
the ball. They have
Curry's
the least
passing it.
seconds holding the ball. Everyone is
Yeah.
always – they take more passes than dribbles.
Sure.
But do you have anything you want to throw out there in the social media world as far as your program or anything else before we dive into the NBA?
Absolutely. If you want to follow our Calvary Twitter, it's at CCA Bucket Team, and my Twitter is at Mr. Gaines 72. My Instagram is at RayG72. And just follow us, man, because one of the things that I want to do is that I want to, I talk about it all the time, is that I'm more in tune with making sure that we're getting kids to the next level. Granted, as a coach, you want to win games, but at the end of the day, like if you're not sending kids to school, then it really doesn't matter.
That's your main priority, is
Absolutely.
the players' development and getting
Absolutely.
them
Absolutely.
furthering their education.
And also being realistic with kids. Like, I've talked to some kids that I have now that coaches say that, you're going to go play Division I basketball. It ain't going to happen. So you have to let kids know, listen, you might can play NAIA, you could probably play D2. You got a long way to go before you can be a Division I player. So like being honest with kids is what I do. And I tell and actually, man, it hurts a lot of feelings, but it is what it is, man. You know, there's not too many Division I players in this area. To me, the actual next best one that I see coming up, and he plays at Mainland. He's not a dominant guy, but he has potential to be dominant, and that's Johnny Brown. He's 6'7", 6'8", left-handed, can shoot it. He just got to work on his game. He's probably the next kid that's going to make it.
I think I remember.
Just real
seeing
quick,
him at
I was gonna
the
think.
rec.
I was thinking about, is that 72? Is that something like you scored 72 points in a college
No,
game or something?
7'2" was the year I was born, unfortunately.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm 45, so I wish.
Like Devin Booker over here. We got Devin Booker.
No,
going
no,
at
I
70.
wish.
Mentality.
I wish.
But,
Oh man.
that's awesome. I have to come to some Calvary games. When's the next home?
We actually play on January 4th. We're playing the number 3 2A team in the state. They're 8-0, 9-0. We had just confirmed the game today because he don't have a JV, so it's just a varsity game at 7:30. So we get an opportunity to
7:30.
7:30.
January 4th.
And our new
be
gym.
there.
And
The
our
new
new
gym.
gym.
New gym.
Locked in. Be there.
If you guys are coming, just let me know, and
Okay.
you know you don't have to pay to get in our game. I'll take care of that. You know, come
Okay.
on in and come check us out, man.
That
Okay.
is awesome. I
The more the
appreciate
merrier.
The VIP treatment.
VIP treatment. I ain't gonna give you nothing but some water, but it'll be okay.
it. I love
Got to
it.
get that mobile equipment.
But Coach, got to talk some NBA.
Got
I
it.
want your opinion. I want your basketball mind. I want to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Sure.
And
Good.
yeah, I'm the biggest LeBron. I think we're both the biggest LeBron James fans. I think he can go down as the greatest of all time overall player.
Facts.
So they're playing. That Golden State Warriors game, I was very aggravated about that last play. I just want to address this whole replay situation.
Just real quick on that. I didn't feel aggravated. After that game, I feel good about the Cavs.
I do too.
I feel good about them. Kevin Love, to me, is the biggest weakness in the last couple finals, the Cavs Warriors.
Had a big game. On
And
Christmas.
if Kevin Love can play like that, even just a positive momentum, the feel good that, hey, I can put up big numbers against the Warriors. Nothing else mattered in that game. In the finals, LeBron will be there. Isaiah Thomas, I believe, will be healthy and be a big part, hitting threes. If Kevin Love can get 22, 24 points, 14, 15 boards, they have a legitimate shot against the Warriors.
This team, without a doubt, has a much better shot than last year because you got Jay Crowder and Green. I think
Yes.
are the two X factors.
Yes.
That's the people that are going to guard Kevin Durant.
3
allows
and D.
LeBron James to rest a little bit. But my whole replay situation is this: if you say, I think we all agree, Kevin Durant fouled LeBron James,
Twice.
right?
Should have been a flagrant foul. He should have got thrown out. It was horrible what he did to him.
My point is, so he fouled LeBron James. So when you look
Yes.
at the instant replay, you're allowed to dictate whether the ball went off LeBron or Kevin Durant. But how come you can't change a wrong call? Why can't you say, wow, we messed up on that possession. Kevin Durant clearly fouled LeBron James. We know hours after this game, the refs are going to look at it and make a statement saying that we missed that call.
And they already did it. It's up
They
there now.
already did.
Already did it.
Why can't you?
I don't think they can. I just don't think they can. Then they can. How many times are they going to look back and if it's a foul or not?
That leads me to my next point.
Basketball is so quick. It's so
Yeah.
instincts. And it's like, are they going to stop? What if LeBron would have scored there? Would they would have stopped him and said, is it an N1?
Facts. That's a good.
That's
a
what I'm
good-
saying. Like, I just don't think you can stop NFL after every play. The game stops. They get back into a huddle, or there's an incomplete pass. Even the clock stops in the NFL. NBA just keeps rolling.
No, that's a
rolling.
great point. That's why this is my little.
So I'm locked in, Max.
I don't know. This is my proposal. I think the NBA should have a one replay system. If you can't tell off of one instant replay, zoomed in slow motion, who the ball's out on, then just go with your gut instinct of what you did in the moment. Because then that's why I'm saying we're spending too much time on the instant replay. So if you look at one replay, wow, Kevin Durant's arm was all across LeBron James's arm. That is a foul. That's it. But if you can't tell off of
Where
one
does
replay,
the replay come from? Does Ty Lue call the replay, or do officials in New York City call the
no,
replay?
when it's under they think the instant replay rule is like under the 2-minute mark.
I understand, but like, who calls the replay for the Cavs?
Just how it does now. It's just like the player be like, oh, no, that's off him, that's off him. The refs look at each other, they're not sure. Look at it one time. If you can't tell, you go with your initial call.
Okay,
So you
then
didn't leave
what
it to the
about-
players?
Exactly.
to-
So then, what about this? What if the ball didn't go out of bounds?
Yeah, that's
So,
exactly.
but it's a foul anyway.
Yeah, and if he would have missed a layup, like Durant would have he did foul him,
He
and
fouled
what
him.
if he would have missed a layup? They ball balances, Klay Thompson gets the board, he's already dribbled, and they can't come back. They can't stop the play.
It's a proposal. I still have to, still
yeah.
have to work out the things, but
No, I felt good about the Cavs.
yeah, that's my point.
I was happy with how the Cavs
How
played.
good are the Cavs when Isaiah Thomas comes back?
They're going to be tough. It's going to be a really, really hard out for Golden State or whomever because they have three guys that can get 30 at any point in time in the game. And then you got another guy off the bench, a future Hall of Famer coming off the bench. They're going to be super duper competitive, but that Golden State, like,
They need another piece to beat them, in my opinion.
yeah.
LeBron James averaged a
somebody
triple
like a
double
Boogie
last year.
Cousins
Oh.
or somebody, or somebody, I mean, even
DeAndre
if
Jordan.
you were talking about DeAndre Jordan, they ain't enough.
Yeah, that's not enough.
He got to be able to put it in a hoop.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No, I like Boogie. If they can get Boogie,
Yes.
it's lights out.
Yes.
See, this is my thing. In a perfect world, of course, we all want Boogie Cousins on the Cavs, but if you do get DeAndre Jordan, just that rim protection alone. So now that allows the perimeter players to play a little bit more up, guard the 3-point shot a little bit because
fact.
you can rely on DeAndre Jordan down low. He's a much better shot blocker than Tristan Thompson.
Who's
I love
DeAndre
Tristan. though.
Jordan going to guard when the Warriors go small?
You don't need to. That's another thing. Is everybody tries to be the Golden State Warriors. You're not going to beat them playing small ball
can't do it.
3-point. If they go small, punish them big.
No,
that's,
I'd rather-
That's why the Grizzlies give them problems.
In the finals with 3 minutes left in the game, the Cavs will have Isaiah Thomas. They will have Jay Crowder, Jeff Green, LeBron James, and Kevin Love on the court.
They just need another piece, though. I don't
I
feel
don't
like
see
that's
how
enough.
DeAndre will help them late in the game.
Because they're going to foul him.
Yeah,
They're gonna foul him.
And DeAndre can't make foul shots.
No, I think that it's obviously a factor of it, but I think his ups, like his plus, is more than his minus.
Absolutely.
I think he gives you more than just, okay, yeah, he sucks at free throws, but you know how many shots he may alter? Not that aren't recorded as blocks, but the amount of shots that he'll affect at the rim. I think that's huge.
You think it's a big addition over Tristan Thompson?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
I do too.
I think so. I think
Whoa,
Tristan's
Coach
good.
Gaines not a Tristan Thompson fan.
I'm not at all. Not at all.
Wow.
Because for
University
me,
of Texas.
yes, but for me, it's for you to be paid what he's getting paid
True.
and not to make a point production night in and night out is crazy to me. Now, even though, when you think back when Dennis Rodman, some of those older guys have played, but like you can't throw it down there to him at all.
Yeah.
At least DeAndre Jordan, you could throw it down there once or twice.
Yeah, Tristan just scores on energy.
That's it.
Offensive rebounds, loose ball.
And he
alley-oops.
clogs the lane. He
Yeah.
clogs the lane. So then
He can't hit an 8-footer.
Yeah, so my whole thing to this is if you can't get DeMarcus Cousins, I would still like them adding DeAndre Jordan.
absolutely.
That's
He'll
my
help.
that's my little spiel on that.
Okay, so I won the replay. You won with DeAndre Jordan. We're 1-1.
What or what?
I'll take
All
it.
right.
I'll take it.
Coach, the Ball family is always talked about on this Locked In podcast. How do you feel about LeVar? How do you feel Lonzo has played so far as a Laker? How
Be
do you
careful.
feel about the two younger kids going to Puerto Rico or going to Spain, going somewhere
Lithuania, yeah, wherever it-
Lithuania to play basketball? How do you feel about the Balls?
I actually really, really enjoy what LeVar Ball does. That's me personally, because he has changed how everybody thinks about shoe deals. He got guys thinking about not going to college, and regardless of what you said, and regardless of what anybody says about him, he has produced 3 high major Division I basketball players. His antics are crazy, but the reason why they're crazy is because they keep a microphone in front of him. If they just left him alone, because he's always been like that. And like nobody didn't know it until Lonzo became who he was. He's always been like that.
I think I agree with part of your statements. I agree with the fact that what he's done for his brand and for Lonzo and LiAngelo and LaMelo is genius because we wouldn't be talking about them if it wasn't for his antics and his bold statements. But a part that I don't like is taking LiAngelo out from UCLA because forget about the game of basketball. Basketball, you can get injured, you may never play again, but an education will always stay with you.
Facts.
So I don't like that he took away his education and a full ride scholarship to a UCLA program, which is absolutely incredible that a lot of people don't have the chance to do.
It's a fact.
And he's going to a Lithuania league.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this isn't the best league to help develop him.
Not at all.
So my point being is if basketball is what you want your kids to be, I don't think that was the best move because they're not learning the fundamentals that you typically would learn from going to overseas and playing.
And see, basically, his situation is that with those other two guys, basketball is far from what he's thinking. He's thinking long term with the marketability of the big baller brand. Like they're saying, once them kids get over there, they're actually putting their Lithuanian shirts on Amazon next week already. You know what I'm saying? Like that just came across my Twitter today. I'm like,
Wow.
So at the end of the day, it's about the marketability of it. I really don't agree with him taking the kid out of school, even a high school kid, even LaMelo. He should never do that because at the end of the day, high school basketball and college basketball is about that word we talked about earlier. It's about the relationship part of it. So now you're isolating your kids away from being able to build lifelong relationships. And that's absolutely terrible for the game. Like, it was something I was watching them on. Matter of fact, it was with Charlamagne the God, and he was on the Breakfast Club. And, like, those kids couldn't even answer a question without looking at him. So the kids are robotic. And so you're not allowing those kids an opportunity to be kids.
I saw that too.
I mean, like, every time they asked a question, they looked, it was like.
Yeah, I never want to tell I don't think
Yeah.
it's anyone's. They don't have the ability to tell someone how to parent.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I think he's taking too much of attention off of his kids and more about himself now, and that's what I don't like about him.
And like
I think he's a genius marketer, but as far as your kids, it's putting a target on Lonzo. So game in and game out, people are just going at him, hating him as a rookie, and that's what I dislike most about.
But see,
Lamar.
what you think about this right here nowadays, if you look at all of the high-level kids coming out of high school, in order for them to have made it and got college scholarship, they had to play on big-time AAU programs and go to big-time college or whatever. LeVar Ball, his kids have only played for him in the summer. Mm-hmm. That's unprecedented. Like, there's no other person that could, like, if you look at all those guys, like the Aaron Fox and some of them other high
Kentucky.
everybody. And then all of them played for Nike-sponsored AAU teams. Adidas. He did it with his own kids that used to come to his house and practice. And, like, people don't give him enough credit for that. He has developed not only just Lonzo Ball. Like, they have the kid at Chino Hills now that's probably
His cousin.
Yeah,
Jump out of the gym.
That's probably like the 5th-rated, power forward in
Now,
in the
is that
country.
LeVar though, or is that just God-given talent?
It's LeVar, man. I give him credit. I mean, because like if you look at his kids, from Lonzo to LaMelo to LaAngelo, all of them are totally different basketball players. And whatever he's doing with them has made them get to the level that they are now. Like, people can talk about all that crazy stuff that Melo did.
You got to respect.
You got to respect the kid that get 92 points in the game. I don't care if he hung down. In order for you to get 92 points in a 32-minute game,
Yeah.
that's a lot of buckets.
Yeah.
Some high school teams don't get 92 in 4 games.
I was at one of those games.
Exactly.
Spruce Creek Flag there. I was there live. It was harsh. It was harsh.
We're gonna have to get Coach Tremont in this
I
seat
know.
soon.
We will. We'll get Chase in here. Real quick, last one. Max and I debate every freaking morning about Lonzo Ball. There's 4 things.
I love Lonzo.
Please pick one of these spots. Will Lonzo Ball be a future Hall of Famer, a future NBA All-Star, a good role player, or a bust out of the league 3 years, doesn't make it?
Future NBA All-Star.
Wow.
Not a Hall of Famer.
Wow.
My man.
Wow.
I've been telling him
Nah,
this.
no, he can play.
Wow.
He can play.
And see, what people don't see, like when you watch him play, he makes everybody better. Like, he doesn't have to get 25 in order to make an impact on the team.
Thank you.
He makes the team better.
And it's not and he uses this analogy as Jeff Teague role player. Jeff Teague doesn't elevate those around him. And Lonzo Ball, and I use this on my side, but it can also be used against me because Russell Westbrook did average the triple-double, but that doesn't make him the best player. But for a rookie to put up the numbers he has shows flashes of greatness. That's not just a role player putting up those numbers. If you look at the company he's in, it's the Magic Johnson, the Ben Simmons, and like LeBron James.
And then if you look at Lonzo, if you watch the Lakers, whenever he's out there, guys run the lane so hard because they know he's going to give it up. when you playing with Russell Westbrook, he's outrunning everybody.
Yeah.
Lonzo,
I agree with that. I
tough,
agree with
man.
that. I just think Lonzo long term, and I don't think he's going to be out of the league in 3 years. I don't think I think he's a legitimate role player. I think he's a good
Really?
role player, and I think Jeff Teague. People hate on Jeff Teague.
I love Jeff Teague.
Yeah, Jeff Teague's
I do
a
too.
legitimate. He's going to be a 14-year NBA veteran. He's a good role player. He could be a good player on a championship team, but he can't lead a championship team. I think Lonzo Ball needs to be the third or fourth best player on the team and distribute. He's not a great shooter.
at all.
That's something
And
that
if
can
we
develop,
are
though.
in a shooting league, I just think it's a weakness. And I'm not saying he's not athletic. I just don't think the point guard game has changed. He's just not uber fast. He's shifty and he's long as a
lanky.
point guard. He's lanky, but I don't see the athletic ability in him. So I think he's a good player. I think he's a good role player.
Okay, so you talking about the athletic?
Mm-hmm.
You talking about the athletic ability? What athletic ability do Mr. Curry has?
The greatest shooter in NBA history.
But I'm not saying he'll be the shooter of Steph Curry, but you have to realize every rookie doesn't. LeBron James couldn't shoot his rookie year. Jason Kidd wasn't the greatest shooter. He wasn't the greatest shooter until he developed it. John Stockton couldn't shoot his rookie year. Ben Simmons can't shoot. But that shooting will come, and I think his length adds up for his
And see,
lack
the
of
thing with
athleticism.
Lonzo that helps him, I mean, it doesn't help him, it actually hurts him more, is that he just don't have an alpha dog type mentality.
Very true.
That's what's hard for him, because when he go against, in the West, when you're playing Chris Paul,
Yes.
Russell Westbrook,
Damian
Curry,
Lillard.
those are dogs. Those
Yeah.
are alpha dog kind
Yes.
of guys. And, like, when you watch him play, you know, he's dominating the game, but he don't have that, like, he don't jump off the screen like,
No.
I'm an alpha dog.
He
Yeah.
won't win the one-on-one matchup.
No,
he
can't.
won't put up the best numbers, but I think you hit it best.
He impacts the game.
Yeah, and it doesn't always show up on the stat sheet.
No,
That's my point.
yeah, he's a good player.
We talk about
He's a good
playing a
player.
pickup game. There's like a team you want to play for
No.
because you know they'll swing it. That's what he
I
influences.
wanna
I
play
would
with
like.
Lonzo.
I would like to play with Lonzo Ball.
he gonna get you the
because
rock.
I can shoot the ball in the corner.
So
He'll give me the ball.
Is
He'll
this
time me.
round 3 us?
Man, I wanted to. I'm taking the L today. I'm taking the L.
Let me give you a warning before we wrap this up.
Okay.
I'm sure you know by now, though. Locked in is our bold prediction for the
Yes.
end of the show. You just something you have to. It's something you can just bet your money
Yeah,
on.
it's a guarantee.
Guarantee
It's a
your
locked in.
prediction in the future. It could be about the Calvary program. It could be about the NBA. Anything in your life.
College can be about Duke going to the Final Four, whatever you
Oh, that's
want.
a given.
Coach.
I'm not gonna. I mean, that's easy. That's easy money there.
So that's
That's
my
a given.
warning for you as
Okay.
the show starts to wind down. Something to think about.
Okay.
I should have told you before.
Okay.
That's my bad.
No, it's off script. What we do best.
Yeah,
Ah.
it is.
Coach, anything else? Anything else you want to talk about? We'll wind down here in 5 minutes. We'll have the producer do a locked in for us. We all got locked ins. Got anything else?
Not at all, man. I
Okay.
appreciate the opportunity to come out and talk,
Definitely
man. I
follow
appreciate
him on
that.
Twitter, Instagram. We'll
Yeah.
definitely we'll throw it up there on the
the old social
podcast.
media, and then we're
Yep.
definitely going to have to come to a Calvary game.
Anytime.
That's for
anytime.
sure.
Anytime. Our probably next best game will be when we play St. John Lutheran. The rest of the
Okay.
teams in our district, don't wait. We're gonna come out there.
I like it.
We'll do. By the way, you're going to have to talk to Dream about the buckets I had to give him at Nova.
Lord, listen.
Don't let him.
Listen, let me tell you about that guy, man. Like, every day after practice, he wants to play one-on-one, and I tell him all the time, we're only going to one. And so for the last couple of times, he's beat me. So, like, he send me pictures and stuff of, like,
Oh, man.
dude, it's the craziest thing. But he is, like, by far one of the most, one of the best kids I've ever had an opportunity to coach because now he has eased his way into the starting lineup. But he didn't start up until a week ago because of all of the intangibles that he brings out there, man. He's such a good kid, man. It's
I
so-
know when he first moved down from
Yeah,
New Jersey.
and he's young. I wish he
Yeah.
would, if he'd have reclassed young.
Yeah, I
man.
told him. I said, just work harder than everybody.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
what he's done. That's what I
that's-
love about him. He's always in the gym. He's working on what he needs to work
Yes,
on.
and he listens. And like I tell him all the time, I said, you're probably going to be a coach. I said, because he understands the game. Like, he asks so many questions because you could tell he hasn't played a lot of organized basketball, but he wants to understand the game. And like I said, he's such a joy because I posted a picture on my Twitter a couple of weeks ago, and like he posted it, and it was just him locked in playing D. You know, we were down 20. You know, and like most kids would be like, oh, whatever. Like, his focus and his commitment to be able to play defense, and that elevated him into the start line. Like I told my kids, I said, he has to be out there for me now because I know He's going to dive on the floor. He's going to do the extra stuff. And every now and again, he's going to knock down the shot. So he's a great kid, man.
That's awesome. Shout
Yeah.
out to Dream.
Yeah,
Get
shout
it.
out to Dream.
I'll tell you about him. But
That's my guy.
Okay.
You go first.
Okay, you want me to get locked in first?
Yes, sir.
Mine's going to be the best locked in out of all four of us. You ready?
Okay.
My locked in is January 4th, Calvary comes with the W.
Nice.
I'm not
The
topping
home
that
game, 7:30.
Nice.
We're going to get the VIP treatment.
That's right.
Locked in boys will be there.
Nice.
Fresh
Calvary
water.
with the W.
Nice. Give
Drop
you-
mic.
Nice. That's good. That's
I
good.
should have saved that for last. I can't follow
Yeah,
that one
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Come on now. I was going to go, my locked-in's more NBA oriented. We talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think the sleeper that we didn't talk about, but it's going to happen, Paul George will be a Cleveland Cavalier. I think what's going on with him, the OKC, obviously the Oklahoma City Thunder, I don't think it's something, it may not happen, but I think the GM, really good GM, by the way, I think he'll start to notice that this isn't working out and that he will be leaving during free agency anyway, probably to Los Angeles Lakers.
So you got to move.
Yeah, so I think they have to move him. And I think if LeBron James reaches out for him and recruits him, that's the piece he needs to guard Kevin Durant, and that's the piece they need to another score.
Real quick.
Okay.
I will respect you are locked in. You said he's a really good GM,
Yes.
the Thunder.
Yes, he seeks talent.
The guy who traded James Harden for a bag of Skittles.
Okay, you're taking this out of
The
context.
guy
big
who
time.
gave away Victor.
Okay, let's talk about this,
Ibaka?
though. Let's talk about this. Who thought about drafting James Harden?
He did.
Who thought about drafting Kevin Durant?
So it's like
Who thought about drafting
Any
Russell
guy that
Westbrook?
can-
All these players weren't...
any guy can get a pretty girl for a night. It's holding them down.
Hold them down.
Okay, I
The
completely
Bucks
agree.
drafted Steve Young. and
No,
then-
completely
Come on
agree.
now.
But player,
Come on now. Durant's out of there.
Player mobility has been huge, though. So you can't just all blame that all on him. Being able to acquire those pieces and draft well is something that needs to be taken.
This is
They've
a whole
made
other podcast.
I know.
This is a whole other story.
They've made the playoffs year after year after year. That's something that a lot of, especially in the West, you can't take it for granted. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but he's a good GM.
Okay, I'll let that slide.
All right, Coach.
My locked
Coach.
in has to be with my team, Calvary Christian Academy. We will be the last standing team in Volusia County, which means we're probably going to go further in the playoffs than anybody else around here. I believe that. I believe, and we have our eyes on being able to get to Lakeland, but we will definitely be the last team standing come mid-February.
I like it.
I
I,
love
like
it.
it. Producer, you got something?
I'm going to go back over to the NBA. We're talking about Lonzo.
Yes, sir.
Talking about him being an all-star. I'm going to say it will take at least till 2021 before he becomes an all-star.
Dang.
Producer's locked in tonight, guys. Locked in. I agree.
That's 3 more seasons.
110%.
3 seasons. Give
I
him 3
agree.
years. 3 years before he becomes an all-star.
You predicting the year, too?
3
Hey,
years.
at least you have him being an all-star. I'll take it.
It'll be at least 3 years before he becomes. I said at least. I said that'll be the earliest.
I'll take it.
They're all good locked ins. I think they were pretty good there tonight.
I'll take it. I'll take
Okay.
it.
I'm definitely going to take your locked in. We need
We
that.
like it.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
sir.
We need
January 4th, be there, be square. Calvary Christian Academy, getting the W. Locked in
it.
boys will be there.
that. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. It's a pleasure to
All
have
right.
you on.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I
so
appreciate
much.
that. Thank you so much.
And
man.
as always,
Thank you.
stay
locked in.
You now locked in with the best. We ain't rocking with the rest. And when it's game time, we gon' put you to the test. Come to ball, we hitting it, kicking it, or we dribbling, passing it, or we running over. It's the ring that we flip you in. So what's the news? You want the scoop? You gotta keep it locked. To David Max podcast through your speaker box. What's poppin', my friend? You know the drop in. And the only thing left to do is keep it locked in.